What up YouTube, it's Casper. I literally just saw one of the greatest movies of all time, which many people consider it to be, and it came out 50 years ago and I barely got to it. I'm talking about The Godfather, so let's get straight to it. I'm just gonna say this real quick. Me growing up, I've always heard people talk about The Godfather, and there's been many movies that reference and try to like just make fun of The Godfather, and I never would catch the jokes because I've never seen the movie till now. Now I know what everyone is talking about. So The Godfather came out in 1972. It's rated R and it's 2 hours and 55 minutes. The movie is basically about Don Vito. He's the head of the Corleone Mafia family. His youngest son, Michael, just returned from World War II, and Michael is Al Pacino, so it was crazy to see that. Just got home from World War II, and he's attending his sister's wedding. Everyone in the family is there at the wedding. The one thing about Michael, he just doesn't want to be part of the mafia. He wants to live a normal life. Also, throughout the movie, there's other mafia families trying to like do other business. They're trying to step it up and bring drugs involved. The one thing about the drugs, Don Vito doesn't want to have drugs out there. Don Vito is just morally against using drugs. He wants to turn down every offer that the other mafia head honchos want to put up. That's what it's about. Also, Don Vito is getting older, so as he's getting older and he's barely surviving through all these accidents and him with his health, his son Michael starts to get involved with the mob. Him being involved with the mob, the family starts to get attacked because they think that the family is now weaker. The Corleone family is weaker now because Don Vito is getting older. The son Michael is now being part of the mafia family, and other mafia head honchos are trying to attack the family to take that whole family out so they could reign in power. And that's basically what the movie is about. You see the progression of how Michael doesn't want to be part of the mob and then becomes mob leader because his dad is getting older and has health problems. So this movie has a crazy cast. Felt like I was in a time machine. Seeing Al Pacino, seeing James Caan, seeing them so young, also seeing Robert Duvall in the movie. Felt like I was in a time machine, and it felt like I was there. It felt like I could like go up to the characters and stuff. That's how into the movie I was. Marlon Brando plays Don Vito. Yo, that performance is so crazy. What do you call professional? He talks like straight mafia, like doesn't have to say too much. Words that come out of his mouth, he is not playing, and you know what he means. And some of the sentences are short and simple, but they get straight to the point. That's how he talks, and you could just see the type of levels you are with other people, and that movie just showed it. One thing about him, a lot of people know him. He's an older cat. I haven't seen too many of his movies. Be like the Channing Tatum of our era. Everyone knows who he is, but I just never really seen all his movies. My parents know who he is. They know what type of actor he is. It's crazy that I haven't seen none of his performance. This is the first performance that I've seen in The Godfather. So happy that I'm on board and see some of his work. One thing that I liked about Marlon Brando is that I heard supposedly in his auditions for The Godfather that he used like cotton balls on the side of his mouth so that he can have that look like of a bulldog, and just to have that tone and when he's talking so it sounds different. And I thought that was really smart. It looked natural in the movie. In the movie I heard that he got like a dentist to make him a mouthpiece to actually make his mouth look like that straight bulldog look. I thought that was just so smart that he wanted to put stuff in his mouth just so he can have the talk, the feel, and the whole vibe of being a straight Don Mafia, and I really like that. Yeah, so I said earlier, Al Pacino was absolutely crazy to see in this movie, because when I saw Al Pacino, he looks, obviously he's 1972, he's a young dude right there, but I'm used to seeing him with his older movies. I have seen Scarface, he was young right there, or younger, but seeing him in Irishman, horrible movies like Jack and Jill, seeing him in other movies as well. I'm used to seeing him in his older stages, but seeing him in here felt like I was in a straight time machine. And even back then, he was still killing it as an actor, made everything look so clean and effortlessly. Not seen part 2, so I'm more than excited to see part 2. Never disappoints, even in bad movies. So another actor in the movie that was pretty dope to see, felt like I was in a time machine, was James Caan. Plays the character Sonny. Weird to see him look so young. Last movie I've seen from him was he was in Elf, played Will Ferrell's dad, so that was the only time I've seen James Caan, so seeing him younger was actually a trip. So I heard that James Caan, when people approach him, that either they approach him for either 2 movies, The Godfather or Elf. Pretty funny. I wouldn't can't be mad at those movies because they're both dope in their own way. So this movie, I don't know how else to say it, but this movie is straight mafia'd out. The clothes, the way the mafia people talk, you really could feel that's what it was back then. Recently just saw The House of Gucci. I'll just say Italian talk in that movie was a straight no. Even though too many Italians and off the bat already knew, just bad. This movie, The Godfather, it was really crispy with everything looks so natural. It felt like a heartfelt movie from them. It was really detailed. Family are together and they're eating. You could see they're all eating and they're munching and they always eat good. A couple other mafia movies that don't show that. The details really mattered in this movie with the food, the clothes, the talk, and the way people will look at each other if you're messing around. This movie does not play around. The writing was phenomenal. The writing was great. There is a part though when they're talking about the drugs. That's the only part where I'm like a little low on that because that's not my favorite part. Talking about like who the drugs could go to. It's bad. I don't like that. So that's the only thing I'll say about the writing. It's just that scene right there. But the writing was so on point. So movies like this are literally my favorite to watch. Love watching mafia movies, crime movies, investigation movies because there's detail. You gotta really pay attention because if you miss something, you know, then it won't make sense later. I like movies that can grab the attention right away, and this movie absolutely did. A scene in the movie where I would call it a Irishman scenario. It's a part where De Niro is beating up some dude on the curb on the street. Rob De Niro clearly misses with his kicking in the foot. In this movie there's like a fight scene where they're just fighting and then you could just see when they're throwing the punch, he misses the punch, and that was the only thing, little goof in there. I'm not mad at that. This movie won Best Oscar for Best Picture in 1973. Also, Brando won the Best Actor in a Leading Role, but he did not attend the ceremony. Al Pacino got nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, but he also didn't show up to the ceremony for a protest because he just feels like the whole show was fraud. So is this movie top 10 movie of all time? Yeah. Does the new Spider-Man that just came out belong in the top 10 conversation? No. One of those movies where you can't debate with it. Unarguably, Godfather overrules it. So after giving The Godfather a watch, so happy that I did, I'm giving The Godfather a 10 out of 10. Cannot wait to see The Godfather Part 2. Super excited to see it. The acting was so marvelous. The mafia stuff, my style. The way they dressed was so clean. The camera work in there made everything look on point. Godfather Part 2 is coming up soon. I can't wait to give that a watch. Shout out to you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Listen, man, who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man.